everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is Wednesday, July 13th. You're listening to us on the N.FM, or you're listening to us a few days later. That's cool, too. I'm Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up? And before we start the show, and I feel like we're doing this every week, man.
Yeah.
Man, it's been kind of a dark time for the country. There were shootings in Minnesota, Louisiana, and Dallas, and our hearts go out to everyone involved. It's just sucks turning on the news and like not so much this week, but last week it was just like we need a break. And yeah, it's been rough. So we just wanted to say our hearts go out to everyone involved in those situations. And yeah, I mean, there's no real way to. I feel like we say this every week. There's no real way to transition out of it. But we know you guys come here to hear nerdy things and geeky things and TV things, movie things. So we're gonna get into that. But man, how's your week been going?
Pretty much the same as everybody's. I think so far. Yeah, it's just been one of those things. Work has been work. That's what work is. If you work, then you know what work is. Like,
Yep.
it just is what it is. And then it's like, oh hey, I will be among the millions of people who join in the chorus of no, I don't catch Pokemon on the job. No, why would you do that's clearly violating some sort of policy. I would never ever do. There's a Rhyhorn over there.
I was invited into. Okay, I can't get into it actually, but there are people that I work with that have invited me to a group chat, over like 100 people, all about Pokemon Go.
Nice.
Like it has taken over in such a way. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in video games or just anything. Like, I've never seen anything take hold this much, if that makes sense.
No, and it's not. Part of for everybody that wants to deride it, like, oh, it's not a real. Some people are still upset. They're like, it's not a full Pokemon game, and blah 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 blah.
Oh, come on.
Right, but I think the simplicity in the mechanics is what is. I don't think you could have done a full 3DS game, at least not right out of the gate, for something like this.
It would never captured people's attention like it had. That would have been too complicated.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, this is something that my parents have picked up. I've had my grandparents send me a text, what's going on with this Pokemon thing? Like that's when when you're hearing it from people who have never really played video games. Not my mom, she's played games and stuff, but like just completely outside of that box. Like, it is insane. And I've just watched it and I've listened and I saw the news, and I'll talk about it later, but I went to a Pokemon event here in Orlando. Now, I thought it was over 1,000. I saw some people post videos on YouTube saying there was over 2,000 people and it was the biggest of its kind.
It and the one in Sydney, I think, until we get if there's ever an official count. But I think that those two were both roughly around the same, but they were huge.
And that's the thing. It was like there's really no way to know, I guess, because there's no one counting tickets or anything.
Right.
But when I was walking around this park, there's one area of the park where you couldn't sit down. It was just covered from people, and they're all just talking about Pokemon, and all different kinds, all different types, shapes and sizes and colors, and it was awesome. Just looking around like, is this real life? And some people are being cynical about it and stuff like, well, I don't get it, and they're being old and curmudgeoned, or okay, you can find a million other things to be cynical about, but something that's bringing people together, all different walks of life that would have never run into each other. And I went to the pool with my mom, and I bumped. Real fast story, if I can, before we get into the news. I was walking to the pool with my mom, and I forgot what happened. She stopped to do something, and I pulled out my phone, went to go catch something. I think it was a side duck. She lives by the lake, and she keeps walking, and I didn't notice it, and I'm catching this duck, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And this girl walking by me goes, "Oh, he's playing Pokemon. Me too." And at this point, I told my mom earlier in the day, I went over to hang out with her and everything. Uh, I don't think she believed me how big it was. And when this person comes up and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing it too," and then this kid that was like across the street in like her complex thing hears us and walks over and is like, "You guys playing? I'm playing too. What do you got?" And my mom just looks at me like, "Are you serious? Is this really happening?" They were all really cool. Like, turns out she's a huge nerd, big into Star Wars, lightsaber tattoos on the fingers, and she knows one of my friends who lives out in L.A. and like they're all into cosplay and stuff, and it was so fucking cool to. That's the icebreaker that people are having on the street. My story is probably happened a million times over across the country where people have gone to the parks or to the restaurants and they're just interacting with each other. We don't have to spend too much time on it right now because I know we're going to get into it later, but that's how cool it was. So when I see people being cynical, I'm like, okay, that's fine, you don't get it, but don't be all biff about it. Like, it's 2016.
Right.
Like, like, get over yourself. So anyway, I don't know. It was really cool. It was really, really awesome. But yeah, man. So it's kind of been my week too. We actually don't even have that much news, so just a warning. Probably by the end of this, we are just going to talk a lot about Pokemon Go because that's what we're into. It's what we've been playing. But we'll get into the news though. Speak of the devil, we'll just get right into it. Pokemon. Legendary Pictures reportedly about to close a deal for the movie rights for the franchise.
Well, we knew there was a bidding war between like them and Warner Brothers, and I think that was it. I think there were a couple more earlier on in the process, but I think it had come down to just them and Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah, and we've been. I mean, if you've been listening, you've heard me and Logan talk about hashtag Landis Pokemon. He has been doing nothing but tweeting about it, and if you follow him on Snapchat, he's fucking crazy. Do you have Snapchat, Logan?
Yeah, I do.
Do you follow him?
I don't. There's like a lot of people that I don't follow because I'm just like I'm just starting it. Like I haven't had Snapchat that long.
Okay, so he went to a Nickelback concert
Oh man.
and with all of his friends, and he talks
Oh.
about popping Molly there with Nickelback, and
Oh.
he took a picture. He's like, "Look at this photograph." It's
Oh.
just hilarious.
God, never again.
Oh my god, but it's so good. And anyway, but he'll go on rants. Like his are the best because it only captures like 60 seconds, so it starts over, and he'll go on rants about like what he's making and what he's doing. And one of his things was like, okay, here's the phone call. This is what I've been building everything towards. And so like, and of course he's been dropping hints just left and right about uh, I don't have it in front of me.
Well, like he did a thing what at the beginning of the year where like he sent out a tweet that had a clue for like every project he's worked on this year.
Right, it was Beware the Moon. It's 2016. Future is looking bright, even if the workload is getting deeper. Gotta love gently if I want to catch 'em all.
And I think we've come to everything except to catch 'em all, right? Like
Everything.
we've
Yep.
seen Deeper is one he's working on, Zero's one he's working on. Some of this like isn't one of these something that he's doing with Netflix?
Yes. It is Bright.
Right. And that was the one that, like, didn't they buy that for like $3 million or something?
Yeah, he got a huge paycheck. He tweeted today with a list of things: Bright, Deeper, Pepe, and then Moore's, balls, cars. Everything's checked off except for ball and cars. And then he says, "We'll see." He also said, "This is it. The 9 days. The next 9 days are the final part of the plan that started 2 years ago. It lives and dies within the next few days, or next 9 days." And you brought up the fact that Comic Con's next week, right?
Yeah, 9 days. Well,
9 days.
From when this airs, it'll be 8 days.
It'll be 8 days. So I love this cryptic stuff. Like, I absolutely eat it up.
Yo,
Like,
that reminds me, I gotta check. Oh man, I was doing this yesterday. I'm sorry, but I was doing this yesterday of like looking at panels at Comic Con, just trying to see like where is this gonna be. If Legendary is buying it, when is there? Oh, I gotta look it up. When is their panel?
it might be Legendary. I think Nintendo's even going to be there too.
I didn't see one.
Oh, okay. So it's probably whenever Legendary's doing their thing.
Yeah.
They'll probably have something for Warcraft or something like that. but I just think that's so cool. He also went he posted his, I think, his Ghostbusters 3 script that they were going to do, but I guess, a bunch of things, everything that's happened, uh, deaths and everything else to make that not happen. And he went on a rant today about it. In the very end, he goes, "I didn't share that Ghostbusters story this morning for no reason. What it represented in my life evolved directly into next week." And he basically talks
Huh.
about being a part of a dream project. And that was his biggest, like, this is going to make me, or something, not make me, but this is going to be it. And then suddenly it was pulled out from under him.
Yeah.
And I liked how he used the word evolve.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
like,
Right.
you can't be more on the nose with this. And the thing is, if anyone doesn't know Max Landis, go watch his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 pitch, and that would just tell you how nerdy he can be and how geeky he can be, and of course all the other stuff he has on YouTube, Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, and the Superman stuff. Like, he is, go read his Superman run, American Alien. He knows characters. He knows characters that people give shit for, and he makes them just real. And I watched one of the videos he retweeted, and it was rumored, probably not, but if the movie was about Jesse, Team Rocket Jesse, and his fall.
James.
Sorry, Jesus, sorry, James. How cool would that be? Would you be down for that?
I mean, just because that's an interesting angle. Like,
I never thought about that.
no, and I know there was another tweet where he was like, you can't make it, like, you can't make Pokemon dark. Like, you
Right.
have to keep, but there is a difference between making something dark and having an interesting story. Like,
Oh, dude, and then that's why I go back to that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pitch. At the beginning of it, he talks about, I'm going to end this video with a Fall Out Boy song. And I was like, what? How is this going to work? And by the end of that fucking video, I had goosebumps.
yeah, it was so good.
I was thinking, how fucking rad of an ending would that be? And how bright of an ending was it? And it was dark in places, just everything, how it wrapped up. If he does anything remotely like that for Pokemon, because I honestly never thought a live action Pokemon movie would work in, like, a way that you do a Marvel movie or something like that.
Right.
But with the right care, who knows, dude?
Well,
and that's an interesting story.
Yeah, and like, here's the thing. Like, Pokemon don't have to be literally everywhere. Like,
Right.
I think when people think of, like, live action Pokemon, they think, well, they're never going to get 1,000 Pokemon on screen at the same time. Of course not. You wouldn't even want that.
Well, when
Like,
you go walking out in nature, you don't see animals everywhere.
right.
They're rare to run into. So that's how I think they would probably approach it.
Exactly.
They're going to be in the woods, probably hidden, because that's their nature or whatever. They'll come out or whatever. So who knows, dude? But the fact, I loved, because I never thought of the angle. I always thought, well, they probably do Ash Ketchum, or something like that. Of course, follow him through the. But we've never really, and I haven't watched all the anime or anything, but we've never really seen James's, or at least I haven't. How he went from his childhood to where he was, and that would make him such an interesting character. And then after a few movies, you could turn and he be, and then you see it from a different person's perspective,
Right.
and you see James.
Well, and because, like, in the anime, like, they do drop, like, they show you a little of, like, oh, here's the home he grew up in, and this is his family, and then, but it doesn't explain, like, and what happened. They don't
Right.
go into that, and then, like, every once in a while they'll mention, like, oh yeah, he did this, oh yeah, he was here, like, just little things like that. Just,
Oh, yeah.
But there's never been, like, and then after the Pokemon Academy, I did this. There's never been any of that.
No, and then a movie or so down the road, show like Ash's point of view or something like that, and then when you meet James and he's turned and he's this, there's so much character development in
Yeah.
that. That just gets me excited, because I never in a million years thought, how could they make that work? And when I just read a few sentences and I heard a few things from what that kid was putting in the video, and he retweeted it, going interesting or that's
right.
weird. Like, come on, like, that is so cool. I guess he got some of the hints from some of the tweets he was doing in the pictures and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's what a time to be alive, man. It really is.
Right? Like, what a year this is for Pokemon, for its 20th anniversary. Could you believe that, to begin with?
No, I
20
really
years.
can't. I was talking with my brother, my stepbrother, over the last few days, and we remember being at my grandparents' house, and we were at my grandfather's house. I was talking with him about this as well, and he let us borrow his lawnmower to go mow lawns all across the neighborhood because we wanted the game. My buddy in school let me borrow the Game Boy for one weekend, and I leveled up a Charizard, and I only left like the second town, and that was it. I could never get past that guy or whatever. And I had to give the Game Boy back, and I was devastated. I was thinking, I need this Game Boy Color it was like the purple see-through, and I need Pokemon Red. So it was summertime. We just got out of school. I went to my grandparents to spend it there, and we mowed every lawn we possibly could. We made enough money to get the Game Boy and the game within a day. I'm sorry, not within a day, within a few days. And we thought, well, let's just get one for all of us. We could keep doing this, and that's what we did. We kept mowing lawns until we got enough for a few Game Boys and the games. And then we sat for the next 2 weeks or whatever, and we watched just the cartoon, and we were just completely obsessed. And so, like, it's no surprise to me or anyone around me, and I'm sure you, that obsession just crawled itself back in, and it's back. And now I can't afford to go buy a Game Boy and games and all this other stuff and whatnot. So I don't know. It was just it was a cool little story. My grandfather was like I'll always remember that that you gave me the ability to do that, and he taught me a lesson. Like, you want something, you got to work hard for it. And that's, bro. We'd spent all day long knocking on doors, mowing lawns, and I think people just felt sorry for us because, like, here's these 2 kids, 3 kids, and they're like, "Can we mow your lawn for $20? Okay, don't kill yourself." I think I accidentally cut the cable for one of them. Just didn't realize it. Oh, it was horrible. I felt so bad. But anyway, we'll get more into movie news. It's gonna be interrupted with Pokemon stuff all episodes. So just a heads up. Go ahead and take the next one here.
Yeah. This is definitely follows under interesting. So James Gunn decided he's gonna start talking about scrolls. And he said that the interesting thing is that, as a whole, Marvel and Fox co-own the rights to this particular alien race. Mm-hmm. But there are specific scrolls that are solely Fox property.
Right.
And I'm guessing, Super Skrull being chief among those, no doubt.
Right. Yeah. Because of Fantastic Four.
But my thought was, well, that's an interesting thing to tweet.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, oh, hey, here's this seemingly mildly interesting piece of information that's not going to have any bearing on, of course, anything that we have to do with the space side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, okay, come on, James. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. I wonder how they're gonna do this. My guess is he's hinting at it, something coming. But my guess is that at some point in time, one of our heroes will do something just seemingly crazy, turn heel, and it will be a Skrull, and that's how they'll be introduced. And it will be this, what the fuck, who's a Skrull? And there you go. You got an Avengers film where they're trying to figure out who is a Skrull and who's not, and that's kind of a really cool concept.
Well, and especially when you consider we have the Kree.
We have the Kree. Oh yeah, there could be a huge war. Like, this is interesting. And I'm curious when they shared the rights. I'm wondering if it's been since the get-go, or if it's been since.
It seemed like it was a get-go thing.
Okay.
Because there wasn't. I don't know all though, because this comes on like right before a piece of TV news we have later. So I don't know. I don't think so. I think this was more like, hey, we really want these characters because they come with. It was probably because they came with the Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, yeah, but it's a big, it's a whole entire species. We're only going to use like a couple of them because Fox didn't, and one could argue against the use of past tense, know how to use a lot of these elements. So.
Now, is Marvel Studios going to be at Comic-Con this year?
Yeah, they're bringing. Okay. I know they're bringing at least Doctor Strange. Like we've seen that. There'll be Guardians too, and who knows what else.
Well, you know what? Maybe we hear something next week. Maybe we hear because I don't think that's just a coincidence that he's mentioning that.
No.
It would be really cool if they announce something next week that has to do with the Fantastic Four and Marvel and a little bit of, that would be awesome, especially since they share that species, and they could, just like Spider-Man, borrow Super Skrull or something like that.
Right.
Borrow Mr. Fantastic or
And
whatever.
my favorite thing is like I still go back to I love how they got Bob in the Deadpool movie. And
Yeah,
how did that
exactly.
like? Oh, by the way, this is Hydra Bob. We're
Right.
just gonna call him Bob, and then comic book fans are gonna freak out.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Fox is already doing it, and I mean Marvel might as well too. They gotta. I think the Deadpool people knew something was happening. They've been pushing for this. Um,
Well,
it was just another step.
and I think this was their way of saying, look, here's a soldier named Bob that Deadpool knows. It could be anybody named Bob. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily like there is a technical legal loophole to get out of there, but the
Hmm.
intent was very clear. It was like,
Oh yeah.
no, this is that Bob. We
Hmm.
can't say it exactly, but come on, guys, you know what we mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I can't wait. So Comic Con is what, next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday?
Yeah, Thursday,
Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's
Sunday.
4 days.
Okay. So yeah, next week we won't have anything from Comic Con, obviously, but the week after that.
We may have even less news next week.
Yeah, that's okay, man. We'll talk about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, right.
No, no, no. We'll have more to talk about. But what else do we got here? We got some Gambit news.
Yeah, Simon Kinberg, who's is speaking of Fox people, who's kind of been like the producer on everything mutant over at Fox,
Hmm.
says that they're trying to get like the beginning or spring of next year
Oh,
to
okay.
start production, uh, which is ambitious, all things
Hmm.
considered. But I have a feeling this is almost more of those along the lines of like, look, if we don't put a deadline on this, then who knows what other calamities are going to befall us. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, it just seems one thing after another with them.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think Gambit would make a better TV show, but we
Well,
will
because I mean,
see.
USA had a show called White Collar. I don't know if you ever watched it.
Mm-mm.
It was about a con man, and it was it was one of these. It was basically like if they it was almost a sequel to Catch Me If You Can in that
Okay.
kind of sense. It was like, oh, he's a con man, he works and now he works with the FBI, blah blah blah. But it could have been if you were like, oh hey, if you made this guy Gambit and just kind of remove the law enforcement angle, like you could absolutely do like the oh charming con man mutant TV show. Like it would
Right.
absolutely work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would. I think in the right hands, it would. I gotta check that out. I started watching Sense8. Have you seen it?
I've heard of it. I haven't started watching it. Is it any good?
It is bizarre as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really weird, but in like that has me interested. I had to watch the first opening scene a few times. I get in this bad habit where like I need to cut everything off while I'm watching something. I started to try to watch it. I forgot what was happening. I was so distracted, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who that is. Who's popping up here? It's a mind fuck. And by the second episode, I started understanding a little bit of why it is a mind fuck and why people are here and there and are they in their head? Like it's really weird in a good way. So like if you like Lost and stuff like that, you'll love this. I also saw the first episode of Marco Polo season 2. So
Nice.
um sometime last week, I think. But I love that show. So good. Anyway, the let's see. We got the false Spielberg's Amblin Company acquires rights to Alien Invasion script this fall, written by Pete Bridges. So have you heard of this? The Fall?
The Fall is kind of it follows a similar plot line to Spielberg's War of the Worlds,
Mm.
just in the sense of like, hey, here's a divorced couple and they're fighting through an alien invasion to get to their kid, kind of deal. The guy that wrote it, Pete Bridges, had a script that wound up on the blacklist last year, and I cannot remember what it was called, and that
Hmm.
bugs me. I hate that. Uh, But so evidently this script has, this is a writer that's got at least that little bit of pedigree going for him. They're like, oh,
Right.
yo, this guy's got a script on the blacklist. We ought to really pay attention to him.
Hmm.
So there's that anyway. But I don't know. Spielberg's busy.
He really is.
You got Ready Player One and Indiana Jones 5, and I know there's at least one other movie in there I can't remember.
Yeah.
Busy dude. Busy dude.
Yeah, especially at his age too. Like even younger directors don't have that much work like all around them,
Right?
and like doing it all. He's just constantly busy.
Well, you get bit by that like creative bug. Like you can't help it.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. We got a new Saw movie.
Yeah, and
Saw.
we talked about like they announced they were going to do this a few months ago, but now we've got details.
Brothers Pete and Michael Spierig,
Something like that, yeah.
Spierig, Daybreakers, to direct next Saw movie titled Saw Legacy.
Yeah, hooray.
There's another one.
Yeah, and that's going to be the general consensus, I think, for everybody. Oh, it's back.
Yep.
Like, this was not a franchise that went out... it went out on a decent note. Like, Saw 7 was actually a good way to end the series on. Like, what they call it, the final chapter. And it worked that way. And so, move on and do something original for a change.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the last four. Yeah. But yeah. So, we'll see. It's not like The Conjuring. The Conjuring is just, it's been so good. I don't know. Maybe The Conjuring hopefully I don't know. Hopefully it won't turn into the Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
but
I don't know, like their formula of like main movie spin-off, like that's not bad.
Oh, that's true. I did not like Annabelle though. Did you?
I wasn't crazy about it.
I thought it was a little weak. Was it the same writer and director?
I don't know.
I don't think it was James Wan.
Nah, he was off doing. I think he was doing something else at the time.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? In that tweet Landis put, do you think the last one, Cars? Do you think it's Fast and Furious?
I think he's got something to do with Fast and Furious. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
That was like immediately my thought, unless because we know Pixar's not doing a Cars 3 because they're not stupid.
Right, that was my thought too. Not
Right.
like a Need for Speed. They tried that and that failed miserably.
Yeah, too bad for Aaron Paul.
So the only other two big things, and I know you don't want me to say it, Transformers and Fast and Furious. Those are the only two big major car movies that I can think of.
It's gonna be Transformers.
If it was Transformers, would that make you more interested?
No.
Not at all?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because they've got like an 87-person committee writing these movies.
But if it wasn't, if they were like, look, people, we hear you.
If it was like this movie written by Max Landis and that was it, yes, I would actually be excited for a Transformers movie for a change.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not. Like we already know they've got like an entire they have like an auditorium of people writing.
You can say the same thing about Fast and Furious though.
Not this many though, and not this openly either.
You don't think at this point?
No, like 4 or 5 maybe, but I mean they have like 9 people writing Transformers movies. Like that's not even a joke. They're all written by committee.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get into TV. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we were just talking about something on the break. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, we were talking about Comic-Con because I'm still trying to figure out which panel this announcement's going to be at.
Right.
And we got to talking about like all the anti-piracy measures and everything they're taking. And how Fox decided to puss out and just be like, oh, hey, we're just not going to show up because somebody might take a grainy cell phone video of something and put it on YouTube.
Right.
Which we as a giant studio can't say to YouTube, hey, that's ours, take it down. Because the world doesn't work that way. But, here's what you do. Record the panels. Start a thing where you record the panels, you leave out trailers, footage, etc. But you do that like a week later. You put those up on your own YouTube channel. You're like, here's the exclusiveness, because everything is timed exclusive anymore. Unless like the especially for something like this. So that's what you do. Have record the panels and have them either, if you can't live stream them, then just have them archived to go up like an hour later or something. Not a grand
You can do it
undertaking.
Monday. I mean, even give the people the Comic-Con like that weekend and whatever to live in it and thrive in it and to be the first people that saw it.
Fair enough.
And then the next week show it to the rest of the world. Get them fucking excited for it. Don't, because the worst thing you could do is have a group of people judge your movie on a shitty copy of it that some guy took his cell phone out and he was like, "This is what Suicide Squad looks like," and it's not your very, you know, well put together trailer.
Right.
It you don't want to fuck up that experience, and life finds a way. People find a way to do this, and they'll get a hold of it, and you can put out. We have new measures this year. It doesn't matter. Some guy's gonna walk in there with a camera on him. You're never gonna see it. He's gonna record it, and it's gonna be viewed by 1 million people on YouTube.
Right.
And look at Deadpool, shining example of just get it out there. Just leak the shit so everyone can see it and enjoy it. And look what came from it.
Exactly, right? The biggest movie that Fox has ever made, like, in ever.
Right, and I was reading that they're trying to do everything they can to prevent piracy this year. And it's like, are the people sending this out the people that are pissed that they were wrong about Deadpool?
Yes.
And they're just like, we're gonna go all in.
And the only sound counter argument to this in any respect is for people to say, well, we want people to come to Comic-Con instead of sit at home and watch it on YouTube, which only barely holds water for a number of reasons. One, if Comic-Con is packed to capacity every year, so shut up. Two, if you put these out on YouTube like the week after, you're not going to stop people coming to Comic-Con, because Comic-Con is more than just your 2-minute trailer at your lackluster, underwhelming panel.
Mm-hmm.
And three, bands put out live DVDs. That doesn't stop people from going to the show.
Right.
So, I mean, there is genuinely no downside here. I understand the idea of people who want to say, oh, well, we want this to be special for the crowd. I get that, and I respect that spirit. I respect that idea. But we live in an age where this is going to get out, where this is just going to happen. So you have to find a way to adapt to it. And if you want to be, Neolithic 80s, you think you can just keep this here until the movie comes out, then you are so far behind the curve, and it's only going to hurt your business.
Yep.
So there is no win in trying to be suppressive here. I get the idea, and I get the spirit, and I respect the whole thing of like, well, it's piracy, because that's true. Is this a gross overreaction? Yes, but
I don't think a trailer is piracy. I think that, they don't want like you said, they don't want the people to not show up to Comic-Con. But guess what? How fast do those tickets sell out?
Immediately.
Right. Anyone who's tried to get Comic-Con tickets, it sells out immediately. So it's not like it's suddenly going to be this thing where it's like, we're not going to have enough ticket sales. It's like, you already got what you paid for. The people are still going to go there. They're still going to enjoy it. Let everyone else enjoy it. Look at E3. Like, people, how much do they pay? Or actually, it's the press that gets in. But you know what I mean? Like, how much? It's just
it only helps. And here's the thing: if you really wanted to make this about the fans, you would flush everybody out of those seats at the end of every panel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can just go in and park your ass in the seat at 9:00, and you can stay there until the panel you want at 8. Like, there's, if you're really going to talk about like, oh, it's for the fans, oh, it's for this, oh, it's for that, then you better clear Hall H.
Right, and that's look at Star Wars, prime example. Look what they did for their fans.
Yeah, Kevin Smith loved that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but still, like,
I know.
Do stuff like that, and it's not going to be a big deal if on Monday the trailer is released.
That's how you make it special. You make it something that they absolutely have to be there for.
Oh yeah.
Something
Oh yeah.
that cannot be duplicated. And so that's what you do, a concert. Like
Yep.
that was perfect. That was brilliant.
Yep, it was brilliant. And the fact that you're just there and the celebrities come out and they sit down and they talk and you have that experience, that should be worth the ticket price alone. You're in the same I'll never forget I was in the same room as George Lucas when it came to the Star Wars thing. And I know how that sounds weird to most people. Like, okay, you're in the same room. It's like, no, like that's fucking cool to me.
Yeah, like
Like,
yeah, it's a whole just to say like I was there.
yeah, I was there looking at him live in the flesh as he talked. I know it sounds creepy to some people, but to me, I'm like, that guy created so much, and so much came out of that, and it was just cool being in the same room. Like, I didn't say hi to him or nothing like that. He walked out on stage, and I was like, looking around at all my friends, and yeah, my buddies were there that year, and I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? This is awesome. Like, it wasn't announced. It was we heard rumors that he was in Orlando, and for him to just walk out on stage, it was ultimately for a failed project. But I forgot what it was even called. It was like the Seth Green thing.
Oh, it was Detours.
Detours, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just so cool to like we're there and
Yeah.
it was
Well,
fun.
well, Misa thinking that's not the first bad idea. Betcha.
right, exactly. But I loved it, man. And so like that, you walk away with those experiences. And let's be honest, most of the people at those events are there for cosplay. They're there for the meet and greets. They're there to shake hands. They're there to be with everyone that's a nerd like them and to be in
Right.
the same space as them.
They're there to be there. The idea
Right.
of like, here's this Comic-Con exclusive trailer, fine, but that's not if that's something that's not there, it's not going to detract from an overall panel. Yeah, some people are going to be grumpy and grouchy, and then they'll get over it like an hour later.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Fox decided to just say, well, because people put stuff on YouTube, we're just not going to go. Well, you know what? You guys are just biting the hand that feeds you.
Yep. Pretty
After
much.
after seeing that Deadpool was the highest grossing R-rated film ever, after seeing that Deadpool basically bailed out your bottom line because your X-Men movies can't sell anymore,
Mm-hmm.
you guys should be begging to come to Comic-Con.
Preach.
Like that's I can't. That to me is just garbage. Where they're like, well, we keep making these things. I'm like, yeah, they're not all gonna make money. How did The Last Stand do? How did Origins Wolverine do? How is the reboot set of X-Men films been doing? Not up to your standards, huh? How did the
Right.
film that the fans wanted that came from leaked footage that was from a project you guys killed because you didn't have any faith of it do? Better than all of that put together.
Mm-hmm.
So get your house in order, Fox.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we got some TV news. John Barman inks deal to appear on all of the network's DC shows. So this is, oh, he's on Arrow, right? He's
Yeah, Merlin. Yeah,
Merlin, yeah.
yeah.
So he's gonna be the big bad guy.
Well, he's got a deal kind of like Wentworth Miller does, where he's just like, hey, I can pop up anywhere, and I like that just because it is so comic book. To say like, oh yeah, this
Oh yeah.
villain can be here or can be here. It's not that he's the big bad of everything, but just
Well,
that he can show up anywhere.
see, that's what I was reading. But I guess yeah, it says he's going to be a series regular on Arrow, Flash, and Legends. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, that's what happened. That's what happens when you're the new Ra's al Ghul.
He, well, yeah. Oh, is he? That's right. He is now, isn't he? He went back to that.
Yeah.
I forgot. By the end of Arrow, he was. No, he was. Wait,
Now,
I'm so
let me
confused.
let me say this. I have still not seen like the last 3 episodes of Arrow.
I don't think he was Raj. I don't think he was. What'd you call him? Raze? I thought it was Raj.
Some people say Raz, some people say Raish. It's GIF and GIF. It'll never be solved.
Well, isn't like. Well, I think we talked about this before. Isn't that kind of the idea behind it? Is like
Yeah, a
it's
little bit.
said different by different people, different ways.
And
That's kind of cool.
I love how in the show, I love how in Arrow they did it both ways because
Right.
nobody cared, and it was a regional thing. Like
Mhm.
Oliver called him Raz, and like Nissa and Merlin and everybody who really wanted to be part of that culture over there said Raish.
Right. Right.
So it was
That's
very,
cool.
it's a Canadian thing. Here's a better example. It's about a boot.
Right.
So-
Right. Right. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's gonna be dope. Yeah, I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. Speaking of Awesome stuff. Did you see the Kid Flash
I did.
promo?
I did. He looks good. Boy, looks good in the
Oh
suit.
yeah. Oh yeah. I wish he grew his hair out some just like in the comic, because they have that like that cutout thing on top or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, but yeah, he looks like Kid Flash.
Now here's my question.
Hmm.
Is that going to be him for this season, or is that going to be him just in Flashpoint?
Yeah, I mean it's a good question. I don't know. Apparently, like this is episode 1. Like he's gonna be in that episode 1.
Okay, so they're setting it up in Flashpoint, and then when they straighten the world out, he's going to be back to being Wally, and then it's going to build back to that probably.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they might just get the idea from the costume alone from that.
Yeah.
You know, they might be like, "Oh, wow, you remember that? You look good in yellow and red."
Yeah.
Like, let's go there. Um,
I keep I'm probably gonna be doing this a whole show, going through this Comic Con schedule. On Friday at 1 o'clock, there's a panel. There's an hour-long panel with Pat Rothfuss.
oh, that's awesome.
And I wonder if he's going to or is allowed to talk about what's happening over at Lionsgate, since they have the rights and whatnot.
He has to be completely aware
Oh,
that people are wanting to know about that.
Oh, I have no question. I'm sure
Yeah.
that the second that Twitter found out that Lionsgate bought a premium cable channel,
Hmm.
they I can't imagine what his feed looked like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
So that's something to look towards. Because he's to his credit, like he's always been very upfront of like, this is what's happening,
Hmm.
this is what happened, this is what didn't happen. Like he's been completely upfront about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Cannot wait. We got some Supergirl news. Ian Gomez cast as Snaper Carr in
Snapper.
season 2. Snapper
Yeah,
Carr in season 2. I don't know who this is. Do you?
he's a news guy. He like debuted with the Justice League. He he was back in the day what Steve Trevor is
Oh,
now.
okay.
Just
Okay.
into like, he's not a military guy, but he was kind of like the go-between. He was
He was snapping.
Yeah, I think he was the press guy. If memory serves, this was a long time ago that I read this.
Yeah, every picture of him, he's snapping.
Yeah, it was that old thing of just, God, it's annoying. But but Ian's a good choice. He was on Felicity, right?
I
I think he
I
was. I
have
think he
no
was Felicity.
idea. Let's see here. Yeah, he looks familiar.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those faces where you're like, oh, I've seen him on Celebrity Name Game a lot. Like,
Yep, bingo. Oh yeah.
uh, so that's interesting. That's a good choice. That's a show I need to watch. I haven't.
Yep.
Especially now that it's gonna be on CW. It's like, all right, now I have to watch it. Like,
Oh yeah, man, dude, we're gonna have a full week of
God.
comic stuff.
Right. There's gonna be no time for anything else.
I love it, man. There was a year or two ago, there was like, oh well, it's Tuesday, or Saturday, or I don't know what day it was. Actually, no, yeah. What am I thinking? Ever since Legends, it's been pretty much all week, right?
Yeah.
But now it's all kind of in one place in the CW.
Yeah, because it was Supergirl and Gotham on Mondays, and
Right.
then The Flash, and then Arrow, and then Legends, and Agents of Shield mixed in there, and
Right.
then Friday was nothing.
Legends.
No, Legends is Thursday.
Why was I? Maybe I just watched it on Fridays.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's the one I really can't wait for. That and the Flash. Just so good. You need to catch up, man.
Yeah, I know.
Not enough time in the day.
No, it's really not.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about X-Men and Battlefield. All right, see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we still got some TV news to talk about. Some big X-Men news. Apparently, the Hellfire show has been scrapped, and Fox partners with Marvel to fill out a pilot for an X-Men based TV show. What do you think?
Go ahead, man. You've been saying this ever since they announced Hellfire and Legion.
Yeah,
And it,
man. Was it just last week or the week before? I was like, they need to do an X-Men show where you see Beast, you see Nightcrawler, you see some of these characters that we all know and love. I totally understand if they had like a new character as the point of view. Makes perfect sense.
yeah.
Um, but dude, yes, from what I read, it was like a family finds out their kids are mutants, so they go underground and they join up with the team. Perfect. Perfect. Make it the Murlocs that introduce them to like the X-Men Academy, like at the end of the first episode or something like that. Like, yes, do that. Do X-Men. You have the rights to those characters. Fucking do it. Like,
Right?
oh, yeah, I'm so happy.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like a Hellfire show would be interesting, but you can't just drop a Hellfire show. Like
Mm-mm.
you have to build something. It has to be a spin-off. It can't
Mm-hmm.
be what you launch with. That just doesn't work.
Right. Like you have this big franchise and you want to do some weird side tale that
Right, you want
is so niche.
yeah, you want to start with Hellfire? It would be like if I don't know, like it would be like if you start, because it hasn't even been talked about.
It's like if they were like, we're gonna bring Ninja Turtles back, but we're gonna start with Bebop and Rocksteady. It'd be cool, but that's not even a good example. I don't even know.
I'm trying to find of like if
It's like if you come in with Power Rangers and you pick what are those two guys that are at the school?
Bulk and Skull.
Yeah, it's like you have Bulk and Skull show. You'd be like,
I don't know,
what?
that'd be funny though.
Where the fuck but the whole time you'd be like,
Where are the
oh,
Power Rangers? Yeah.
right, this would be great if we were watching some Power Rangers, but now we're seeing the adventures of these two guys. Yeah, just no. Like,
Yeah,
no.
that's a good point.
Yeah, or like pick some obscure DC property. It's like they're sort of doing that with Batman. It's like everyone just wants to see Batman and Robin and all that dynamic, and we're not. It's like if they did a Court of Owls show and just there was nothing to do with Batman.
There's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. If they're like,
Yeah.
this is going to be set in the Batman universe, it's going to be all about the Court of Owls, and you're like, the who?
Right, we just get hints at Batman the whole show, and you're just like, the fuck is this? So we're just watching a show about a bunch of weird rich people.
Right.
Right. So just annoying. Um, so yeah, so it's great news. Can't wait to. You know what? You think the timing's a little?
Yeah.
You think we'll hear something next week?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a. Oh man, you know what I actually really want? I want like an X-Men animated TV show, just like they had in the '90s, straight from the comics. Didn't care. It just was straight comic book ripoff.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty dope, right?
Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
Well, if you talk to '90s kids, and you said, "Name me top 5 animated series from your childhood," it's going to be Batman the animated series, X-Men the animated series, and Spider-Man the animated series. It's going to be in there, right? I mean, I'm sure you'll of course get The Simpsons, Family Guy, but we weren't really children, I guess, when that. I guess Simpsons, yes, but you know what I mean?
Well, and I don't know, you're gonna get a lot of Nicktoons too.
I guess I should say comic book people.
There we go. Now you're talking.
Right, and not even that. Like a lot of my friends who don't give a shit about comic stuff, they watched that as kids.
Sure, like, well, I mean, come on, that was Saturday morning cartoons. That was,
right.
You had the Jetsons and the Flintstones and all this that came before that we would wind up seeing later because they did. We were the last generation that really had reruns like that.
I guess
they don't like because like you can't. Everything has to be new programming now, and I get it. That's business, that's the world. I understand, but man, come on, what was like the Tex Avery show and Toonheads? You remember Toonheads?
Yeah.
Where it was just like all these old awesome cartoons, The Car of Tomorrow and Owl Jolson, like all this. Those were even back then those were old cartoons, but they were awesome. Like there's and I can't. We're in a position where like you can't really complain about cartoons because we're not the kids. It's really gonna have to wait until like the kids now are our age to look back and just be like, yeah, we just wanted to tell you like our cartoons were awesome for us too. Be like, oh, okay.
Well,
Or for them to be like, you know what, our cartoons sucked. You were right.
well, I
Like,
mean, I see that they have, there's a Justice League coming out. They have a Spider-Man. They have you know, no, what did they have? Like an new Avengers show every other year. It seems like.
yeah, well, because it was Avengers, uh, Earth's Mightiest Heroes or something, and they just kind of like changed the subtitle every year. Like
Right.
that was how they changed the seasons.
Mhm.
Ultimate Spider-Man is good. The Disney XD show, that's actually a really good cartoon.
Right, right. But that's what I mean. Like, there's always kind of been a Spider-Man, Avengers. Why not X-Men? That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. In other TV news, um, Battlefield. Paramount Television acquires rights to the TV series based off the EA franchise, based off real-world events.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like,
What?
uh,
How did you get? Why didn't you just make it battle? Why even spend money giving it to EA when you're like, let's just make a TV show about World War II?
I mean,
Like, I guess
right?
Bad Company could be what they're going after.
Bad Company would be fun. I would watch that. I would be happy to watch that.
That's the only thing I can think of. Is there like a story in the last few Battlefields? Because anytime I played Battlefield, it was like, here's a
Well,
big map, pick a place to drop in at.
right. I mean, Battlefield's always had a story mode, at least in theory. Uh,
Not that I remember. I played Battlefield
well,
1942.
that one didn't. But once they moved toward consoles, like the actual once they started, when we got, I know it started with Bad Company, but I'm pretty sure like Battlefield 2 and I know both Bad Companies, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Hardline. Like there was a story mode. There
Oh, I
was,
guess I never played that.
yeah, which is fine. It was totally throwaway, except for Bad Company. Bad Company's story mode was fun because the characters were fun.
I remember you saying that, so
Yeah,
that's why I was saying like, okay,
those.
that could, that. And whenever remember seeing the trailer for that, I was like, this looks like a story, but I didn't think the main series had a story. But I guess it does. You're right. I guess in
They,
especially the last one, I do remember now playing a little bit of the story. Like it opens up and aren't you in like a no? That's Call of Duty.
you
I was
see,
gonna say you're in a
it's
car underwater, right?
yeah, yeah. That's
That's Battlefield.
that's Battlefield. Yeah, it's
Okay,
so
yeah. So
that's
I remember
yeah.
that.
See, here's their problem. It's impossible to tell these two apart.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
problem where it's like, oh, the story mode's just kind of the same. That's why. That's why Black Ops and Bad Company have been the better have been the better games for each of these franchises. The main franchises have lagged, and the side for that's why when they're like, oh, a new Battlefield, everybody keeps saying like, when is Bad Company 3? Because
Right.
that's what we want, because that was something where the story mode was actually enjoyable, and it wasn't because it's this big giant sprawling thing. It's because you didn't have just throwaway characters. Oh, here's Lieutenant Colonel Man, and here's evil bad person. Like you had, like your squad mates all had characters. What, like four? I think it was only like 4 or 5 of you, but there was character. You found something to relate to in these people.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, yeah, it's all forgettable. So I don't know. I think this could be a good idea if it's done right. I mean, World War II or World War One or whatever time period they like a cool war TV show,
You mean
like
like
done
Band
right.
of Brothers?
Yeah, exactly. We don't have anything like that right now. So that would be really cool. I would be totally down for that. And yeah, Band of Brothers, of course.
That's the
That's
benchmark. Like that's
yeah,
you've got to meet that.
yeah. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Where do you think this goes? You think this is going to be like on CBS or something, or do you think this is going to go to like HBO or Showtime or
It's
AMC
it's
or
gotta
Netflix?
go. It's gotta go somewhere like AMC. Like this doesn't go to basic cable.
What about Netflix?
Could go to Netflix, sure, or Hulu.
Oh man, you got to see Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch more of that. Yeah, it's really good, dude. It's such a weird show. It's in a completely different time, completely just it's awesome. There's nothing like it right now.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a more realistic Game of Thrones because it happened. But yeah.
Yeah. Right.
it's in the realm of, but it's cool because it's like they do still think that they're like they believe in uh, the gods and all this other stuff. So it's like it's weird. It's like Game of Thrones before they tiptoed into fantasy.
Right. It's Game of Thrones without magic and dragons, basically.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
It's
fair.
oh man, it's so cool. Who knows? If a dragon showed up, I'd be like, "That's dope." Okay, it took a turn I didn't expect. Wait, they were real back then? Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. Before we get into games, because we're gonna take a quick break real fast. Have you been watching any new TV?
I
Netflix
no,
thing?
no, I don't think so. I
No,
just
nothing.
I got sucked into Top Gear like way too late because it's over
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah.
But it does make
Well,
me excited because those three are doing a show on Amazon Prime. So the Grand Tour, they're calling it.
well, there you go. There you go. Well, hey, Sense8 and Marco Polo. Give one of those a shot.
Nice.
See what you like. They're both really good. And oh, there's another one. What was it called? I forget the name of it. We'll be back. I'll think of it on the break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And we've kind of gone through television. On to video games now. Do you see that the game Evolve uh, re-released as a free-to-play?
I saw that. That was interesting.
Yeah, I think if you've purchased it before,
Yeah, they have a legacy pack where it's just like, hey, all the stuff you have, you keep. Like it's cool.
right?
Like they're not, but for the 37 people that impacts, I'm sure that's a great news because
Jeez.
that game just did not take off. It
Well, I
didn't.
mean,
Like it.
well, I didn't. I think 37 people were actually. Yeah, there was like maybe 50 people that were playing it before this happened, and now it's jumped to like 25,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens. You make stuff free to play, like, and
Right.
something solid. Like Evolve is at its core has some really cool ideas and some really great intentions, but there were a lot of balance issues, and
Should have
that's
been free to play to begin with, I think,
I they could have gotten I don't know.
or $20. Yeah.
Right. It shouldn't have been a full 60.
Well, sh- the model's perfect for free to play or $20, and then you get updates or whatnot, and then a shitload of stuff you can buy. Because yeah, I mean, the way they did it was they had just so much. The amount of DLC. I don't have a number or anything in front of me, but it was
Yeah.
insane. Like there was like $100 worth of skins, and it was just out of control. I think there was $100 skin. I forgot what it was, but like it was. I could be completely wrong, but I remember it being like some super high number. It was out of control, where it pissed people off because there was the amount of space it took up for the DLC when the game launched was more than the actual game.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Right, and they're like, where we're paying $60 and you're holding more than what you've given us? Are you kidding? So yeah, I remember it's just that was just terrible. And I'm one of the suckers that bought it. Like,
Oh,
I
that's right. I remember that.
yeah, I think I just didn't care, and I was like, this game looks fun. And I
Cause it
played it for 2 weeks, and
yeah.
that was it.
Because like it,
Um,
it looked amazing. Like it really looked cool. Like you and like three buddies who were chasing around these gigantic monsters. Like that kind of asynchronous multiplayer just looks cool. Asymmetric multiplayer just looks really badass.
it really is. It's fun, and maybe that it's now for free to play. I know it's free to play for Steam. Hopefully, to Xbox and PlayStation. Did they announce it for that, or? I mean, I'm
I
sure it's going to be free to play on those two consoles as well.
I imagine
Um,
it'll have to be at some
And
point.
if that's the case, I could absolutely get my friends to go download it. If it's like, Game of the Month next year for PlayStation Plus or something, I could absolutely get my friends to go, okay, we'll give that a try and have fun. But you're right. When it's just you, it sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is so bad to play single player. Oh, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
one guy on the team just doesn't do the right thing, and you're all fucked. So, that. So I could totally play that game with my friends if it's free to play. And then yeah, like, oh, we won't get this one monster because I don't have that DLC or something like that. I get that, totally fine.
Right, that
Um,
I'm okay with. Yeah.
what they should do is anyone who bought the game, you have everything that's in the game now to this point, all DLC.
I think that's what they've done. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I hope that's the case because then I was like, oh, okay, now I have all of these monsters, and that'd be fun to play around with. But yeah, and it's funny, a lot of I see a lot of games going this route, like Battleborn right now. Like they got to be looking at that, going, what the fuck are we gonna do? Because
Right.
no one's playing it. The only one that's really safe that's kind of like that, I guess, is Overwatch, just because of how fun it is, and I've my entire friends list is still playing it. um, so that has staying power. Um, those type of games, it was a gamble, but yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It's
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I really think it should have been $40 or something like that. 20, I guess, is kind of low, but at the highest, it should have been $40. That would have made it a little bit more reasonable for people to go, okay, let's try this. Um,
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
seeing it on the store here.
I'm actually thinking Overwatch probably it doesn't have to, but I could totally see Overwatch going $40 in a few months if they want to.
Oh, it
Uh,
could, yeah, for sure.
yeah, I don't think it needs to, but at the same time, like I could see people going, you know what, that's not that bad, and like if you're a PlayStation Plus, it's 35. Like I could totally see them doing that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. We got some Batman news. Return to Arkham HD collection rumored to be headed for November release.
Yeah, that's the talk now, is that they're like, well, it should be probably out around November. I'm like, oh guys, just and here's what really pisses me off
Mm-hmm.
is that they're doing Asylum and City HD remastered. Oh, and by the way, we're doing a separate $60 Arkham Knight Game of the Year edition. No,
Mm.
screw you. That's terrible. That's bad business. You throw all of them together, you make it $60, and that's what you do. I know that they're full-size games, especially City. It's a big game, but tough. Like this is the world now.
Honestly, what I would wish, I'd kind of like what Xbox is doing, where it's like, hey, here are these backwards compatible things. Just release the games on the systems. Doesn't have to be these HD collections. I want every month there to be 5 to 10 games, classic games, PlayStation 3, 2, 1, doesn't matter. Start making, start porting them over. There's no reason it shouldn't take. It's taking too long. We get like just drops, just dripped, breadcrumbs for these PlayStation 2 classics, and it's like I just why spend all this time making it HD? Just put it on the store.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um. Yeah. Uh. Here. Did you see that they're going to start counting digital sales?
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Research firm NPD brings digital Steam, PlayStation, Xbox sales to its gaming report. So finally, they're going to start including digital sales.
Right, like decades later.
Yeah. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm curious, like, what it's going to look like because me and most of the people I know buy digital. I know you buy still physical, right? You go to GameStop because you can
Yeah,
uh, buy
pre-order.
towards a game. I mean, if I don't have to walk into a GameStop and try to get upsold and everything, I don't. I stay away. I steer clear. I sit at my house and put in the code and download my game, and it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I'm curious what kind of a dent that's going to make, especially for Steam sales. Like that's PC. Like that's the entire PC gaming.
Yeah.
Um, so I can't wait to see those numbers. I can't wait to come to console.
What?
Stardew Valley.
Oh
I
yeah, you tell me about
I
that.
love it on the PC, but I'd love to just sit on the couch and look, I got a little farm here. Okay, I'm gonna put a little carrot in here. Gonna water it. Oh, I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna go talk to Susie. Like it's such a chill game.
Yeah.
I'm curious how it does on PlayStation. Uh, it's just really cool. Um, but yeah, so I think that's no. We still got some. No, I think that's it for video games.
I think so.
Go ahead and take the next one.
Yeah. All right. So I thought that this was interesting because we know Marvel is doing their Marvel Now again.
Hmm.
Um, and we saw. I don't know if it's the whole lineup or just some of the lineup, but the thing that I thought was interesting, the there are 3 spin-offs just from Deadpool and the Mercs for Money alone.
Hmm.
Like 3 of those characters, Solo, Fool Killer, and Slapstick,
Hmm.
all got their own spin-off. And I was like, all right, I'm sorry I haven't been reading this comic. Apparently, it must be really good.
Right. Now I've seen these characters in the Marvel like banner
Yeah,
with like all these new characters, and it just looks like a bunch of millennials. Because like
pretty
if you would
much.
have, yeah, like half of them didn't exist till a few years ago, which is cool. I'm totally down for it. But these were the 3 characters where I asked you, I asked somebody on the internet. I said, who are these guys? They're like, oh well, this is Foot Killer, this is Slapstick, that's Gwenpool. I'm not gonna explain it. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right. Apparently, Solo, Foot Killer, and Slapstick are old characters though.
Really, and they just kind of got recycled into this story, and so
Yeah.
now they're getting a
Yeah.
new life. Interesting.
Yeah. So like, if you look when I looked up Solo Marvel, um, James Bourne, I guess is his name. I guess he's born. But let's see here. Like, I forgot what year it came out, but I'm looking at this. It's like an older comic.
Huh.
And I don't mean like 1960s old. I just mean like, okay, 1986 first appearance, Web
Yeah.
of Spider-Man, number 19. He had a solo series in 1994. So like these characters existed, and I think whoever's doing Deadpool was like, hey, here's 3 characters we're not touching.
Right. And hey, I'm all for that. More new or hardly been used characters. I'm all
Right,
for it.
because this is perfect for her. Well, I don't know. Would Fox own the rights to them? I guess not. I was gonna say like 3 unknown characters. Be cool for them to show up in the next Deadpool movie. Oh, his haircut's just like mine. That's cool. But it really is.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe I should pick up Deadpool because I don't know anything about these characters. They're supposed to be, they were in the banner. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Huh. Interesting. Um,
yeah,
we saw that we're getting a Jessica Jones series.
that makes sense.
Sure, totally. And for anybody that hasn't checked out Alias, so good, such a good series. Um,
Oh yeah.
but now we here's what's interesting. Apparently, before the end of Civil War 2, something's going to happen to Iron Man. I don't know what, but we're going to get 2 Iron Man books, neither one of whom is going to have Tony Stark in them.
Mm-hmm.
One is going to have Riri Williams take up the mantle, and I haven't been reading the series, so I don't know her story. Is she what? She's what a scientist of some kind at Stark
I
Industries?
have not been reading. I've only read a few of the comics.
Yeah,
I don't know who she is. I saw the pictures, but I don't know.
yeah. I just don't know her stuff. Like I just haven't been reading Iron Man. The only Marvel I've been reading is Amazing Spider-Man.
Now, are we getting a new Iron Man and a new War Machine?
I I
Didn't War Machine die too?
yeah, him and spoiler alert. Him and,
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
well,
It's the Catalyst.
yeah, kind of. Him
Yeah.
and him and one other who I'll not mention.
My bad. Yeah.
But no, hey, look, it's all right. We all thought it was going to happen in the Civil War movie, but
And to be exact, you know what?
uh-huh.
I honestly think it should have happened. It would have been
I
such a bigger impact.
I'm all right with that just because it gave us the delivery scene. I mean, come on.
That's true. No,
I
that you're right.
I like
I thought that would like it would have been a fuck up on both ends if he would have died. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like they shouldn't have been fighting. They shouldn't have been in that situation. And it would have like imagine the impact that would have made for like Tony Stark to go fucking crazy.
Right, but
Um,
then like at what point like would that not have just totally taken everything out of Cap though? Like
oh yeah, it would have too. Like it would have really destroyed both of them.
so then
Like how
there's
did we get to this?
right, and then so there's no third act. Like I don't
I guess.
I
Yeah, well
I
I'm not a
think
writer. I don't know.
I
I
think
just I saw that movie and I go, where was the I would have loved a death of some, and that sounds bad, but I would have loved some uh some collateral damage to be like we fucked up.
well
It was a great parking lot fight,
Yeah.
amazing shit, but oh shit, like something really bad happened.
Well, and
The
I think
stakes weren't that high, I guess, if that makes sense.
I did not disagree because I think this is a way to do that without crossing that line. And I don't think I think they
Right.
did it in a way that showed that it wasn't necessary. Like
No,
the
you're right because he's handicapped now. He's crippled. He has so much more. He's got to work to get back to and he may never get back to 100%. So
right
I get what you're saying.
and to
I love what do you call it? I don't know. I just thought it would have taken it that one step, but you're right. It probably wouldn't have worked
it
out
pushed
fast.
I kind of liked it even more because it gave Tony time to look at this and say, it could be a whole thing of like, well, he's going to get better, blah blah blah, but still, like in that moment, there was that just complete and absolute terror of like,
Hmm.
this is where this is headed, and I
Right.
think that in itself lends to a lot of different emotions than just they killed him,
Hmm.
because then it's just cold fury. It's just one gear straight ahead. There is absolutely no, like,
But
that's it.
that's
Like,
what happens though. Like
I
that's the
no,
consequences.
I but yeah, but I think that there's no attempt at reconciliation at the end though.
Right.
When they don't, he doesn't take off to Russia to try to say, hey, it's let's find out what's really going on here.
Hmm.
Had Rhodey died, it would have just been, hey, good, this is as good a place as any to have you buried. You know, it, it,
Right, and so now I guess now we're seeing that in the comic. We're seeing what links he would go to, and he's gone crazy. Like I'm not going to ruin the comic for anyone, but he understandably goes off the deep end. Like you can see I love how they make it so you can see from both point of views. It's like,
yeah,
well, his best friend just died, but at the same time, it's that gray area. So, okay, that's cool.
yeah,
But yeah, we didn't even talk about the second one, the
yeah.
infamous Iron Man one.
Infamous Iron Man, to be because under this metal suit of armor, because he can't stay away from having a mask on, is going to be one Victor Von Doom.
Well, did we already have a superior Iron Man? Oh, that's when he went villain, right?
That was when, yeah, that was after Axis.
Right, right,
That was
okay.
where it was like, I'm Tony Stark, I'm the greatest. Where he went just like back to full on, like, I'm sorry, you
So,
little people, what now?
right. So I take it he's gonna probably get his face scarred by the end of Civil War and have to wear iron, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Or it's just like, here's his. I don't know, because like I said, I haven't been really following this, so I don't know what's going on with Doctor Doom or any of this.
Well, he's like completely healed,
Right,
right?
that much I did know.
The way I take this just from first glance is that like something bad's gonna happen to Tony Stark, something bad is gonna happen to Doctor Doom's face, and he's gonna drop it. Or you're right. I mean, maybe he just puts on an Iron Man suit, or maybe he puts on the Iron Man suit and just melts him and it sticks to him. Like that would be really cool.
Oh, pull a hardcore Baron Zemo there.
Right, a
Like,
frightening like, oh my god, my entire body is burned, and I try to take this off, and it's horrible. Um, and he'd be back to Doctor Doom. I love the idea though of the original Doctor Doom, the fact that he had a little scar, just a tiny little scar, but he thought it was so damaging to him that he scarred his entire face
yeah.
by trying to fix it. Like that's a cool concept.
Well, I
And maybe
mean,
I'm butchering the story there, but that's what I got from it.
well, it's vanity gone extreme. Like
Yes,
that's like
exactly.
it. Like that was the whole point. It was pride and ego and greed and vanity, just cranked up to 12. They blew straight past 11. Like that.
Right.
That was clearly that idea. I mean, come on, this is a guy whose first ever appearance, he's sitting on a throne with a tiger sitting next to it.
Right. I love that. Maybe he's just like that with Tony Stark, and you think I'm smarter than you. Here's my Iron Man suit. Oh my God, I'm burned, and now I don't know. I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Um,
hubris. Like that's what that's it's Icarus all over again and again and again and again.
right. But you know what? I'm gonna catch up on Iron Man because I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's it.
It's a
Now,
cool
yeah, like
concept.
now I'm curious.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Um. Okay.
we're
What's
we're
the next one?
we're getting another Thor book, not in place of the one we're getting, but we're catching up with the unworthy Thor.
So we're gonna figure out what's happened to him.
Right, because we still don't know. We still don't know what it was that Fury said to him.
Oh, I'm looking at him. He looks like Ultimate Thor.
Yeah, he's kind of gone that road of like, like the long shaggy hair and everything. Like he looks like a worn out Thor.
That's cool.
And
I dig the beard. He needs to keep the beard.
Yeah, it's a good look.
It's 2016. Keep it in
Well,
style.
yeah. And I'm sure there's a little influence from post, from that whole deal of just like, hey, this was kind of a cool element. Well, now we can incorporate that because after Secret Wars, all this reset and whatnot. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's interesting. The one that I'm curious for is Champions, which I didn't know there was a legal battle over that title.
Oh really?
There was some kind Marvel for the longest time didn't have the rights to use that name. And I didn't really look much into that, but that to me is interesting.
Really, I do. I love the team though.
It's a great team. You've got Ms. Marvel, the Amadeus Cho Hulk, Miles Morales, and I'm guessing Young Cyclops.
Oh yeah, Young Cyclops. He has a comic. He's on one of the X-Men comics that says "I quit."
And joins the Champions. I love how it's that and not another Avengers team, because we've got the U.S. Avengers with Squirrel Girl and Red Hulk and Luke Cage's daughter from the future, who's Captain America 60 years from now or whatever, and that's a mess.
Wait, what?
Yeah, was it not Jesse? I can't remember, but I think that's how that story goes.
Okay.
I'll have to look at.
Okay. On the cover of the all new Avengers or whatever, it shows Miss Marvel, Miles, and Nova burning
the Avengers cards. Yeah.
Burning the Avengers card. Is Nova not in this?
I didn't see him. He wasn't in the lineup. I think they're teasing bringing back Richard as Nova. So I don't know. I guess maybe that's where Sam's going.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of bringing back the idea of a Nova Corps, I think. I haven't been following them, so I don't know if they've done that already. But I think that's what I mean. Like they're reestablishing a larger Nova presence because they have one in the cinematic universe.
Right. Yeah, that would be cool. Let's see here. Now I just saw this on a website, and it goes back to what we were talking about before. The Untitled series, the X-Men series.
Oh, Death of X, is that it?
Did you see who the producers were?
Oh, talking about the okay, yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I was still in comics.
The X-Men. Apparently, it is Matt Nix and Bryan Singer.
Really?
Yeah. Produces Lauren, Simon Kinberg, Joseph Lowe, Jim Coy. I don't know these people. But yeah, I guess I didn't know they were attached to it. But okay.
Interesting.
Sorry. Yeah. What other comic book news do we have?
Let me see what else. Sorry, I was trying to find the lineup for the U.S. Avengers, but I couldn't find it. This really made me laugh. DC has decided that He-Man needs a 6-issue crossover arc with Thundercats.
What?
That's the most 80s sentence I've ever uttered in my entire life.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's just ridiculous.
It really is.
It's this idea of because they've established a He-Man multiverse.
Yeah.
Because DC just cannot do anything without a They've got a freaking KFC multiverse, man.
That's crazy.
I can't. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, I see the Red Hawk is in U.S. Avengers.
Yeah. Danielle Cage, that's her name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's
glad he has that mustache.
Yeah, right. Ross needs the mustache.
Yeah.
Like it was so part of that character because it's that classic look. It's like, oh, we need somebody who's army brass, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, he's going to be built like this and stand like this and have this haircut and have the mustache.
Yeah.
And it's like you just can't not have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, gotta have that absolutely. Have you been reading any comics?
Just Amazing Spider-Man, and I think I'm even back maybe one on that because they're getting ready to start they're getting warmed up for their prelude for Dead No More.
Right, and isn't there gonna be like a No More X-Men book or something?
Death of X. It's
Death.
it's actually going to be it's going to explain why there's a war between the X-Men and the Inhumans. It's what, like a I think it's a 4-issue series, 4 or 6 issues that's actually going to take place like immediately post Secret Wars and
Mm.
kind of explain why we've come to where we are.
So it's gonna talk about Marvel and Fox Studios.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I need to catch up on Moon Knight. Is it up to issue 10? Holy shit!
Wow, it's that far along already? Wow.
I read 3 of them, or maybe I'm just looking at the Marvel Now's upcoming. Like Daredevil looks cool, Punisher looks dope,
Thanos looks cool.
Thanos looks cool, totally awesome Hulk. What's up with Gwenpool?
I'm gonna stand by what your buddy said. I'm not gonna explain it.
Is it Gwen Stacy?
It's a I
Like an
think
Ultimate Universe or
well
something?
because Spider Gwen did so well. I
Mhm.
think like it was a joke. They were like, what else can we make Gwen? And somebody went Gwenpool, and they were like, okay, so let's do that.
Oh wow.
Because like Spider Gwen really took off. They were like, this is really cool, and they were like, oh, okay, um, so people really like Gwen Stacy. Um, all right, where else can we put her? Well, she's dead, sir. Yeah, but come on, think outside the box here. Deadpool, not that far outside the box. No, that's just far enough outside the box. You know what? In that line, yeah, that'll work. Sure, why the hell not?
Oh yeah. I see here in Spider-Man number 12, it's Miles and Spider-Gwen kissing. So, is she in the main Marvel universe now?
Yeah, she's part of the main timeline. Yeah, I need to catch up on the rest of the Spider Family books because there's Amazing 2099 and then just Spider-Man, which is Miles.
Mhm. Yeah.
I gotta catch up on that.
Yeah. Squadron Supreme. Yeah, a lot of these look cool. I'm interested. Count me in. Yeah, I got some catching up to do, man. Got a lot of catching up to do.
Squadron Supreme is just such a great title. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever actually read a Squadron Supreme comic. I think except for the Secret Wars tie-in. I think it was a Secret Wars tie-in. But it was just like, it's such a great name. I love that name.
Exactly. So Namor died. How did he die?
They killed Namor?
Namor. Yeah, I guess he died.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Maybe he's just not back. He hasn't been back from Secret Wars. Maybe
No,
that's
no,
what it was.
they killed him in the first issue of Squadron Supreme. That's right.
Yeah, I guess he's coming back.
Okay, sure. Yeah, because you can't really kill Namor, probably.
Right, exactly. So you take the next one for sure.
Yeah, man, this kind of bummed me out, but all good things must end. On the July 9th, which was what, Sunday? Hang on, I've got a calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can't read from here. Saturday the 9th. Whenever the 9th was, the 3 big principals from Hamilton took their last curtain call for the show. Lin-Manuel, Leslie Odom Jr., and Philippa Sue. They're done with the show now.
So what are they gonna do?
I know Leslie has a jazz album he just put out. I'm not sure where Philippa's going, but I'm sure she's not hurting for gigs because she's fantastic. And Lynn is kind of doing the Disney thing. Because remember he's writing songs for Moana, And he loved to talk about like The Rock can sing, and I was like, well, yeah, like we've known that, like anybody watching wrestling knows that, but
Right.
just because we've seen him and Stone Cold do Jimmy Buffett, and
Right.
and but he's co-starring in the Mary Poppins sequel they're doing.
That's right. Yep.
So
Yeah, that's what I
so
remember.
that's interesting, but sad thing, but onward and upward.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, hey, we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we'll get in some reviews. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got some reviews to talk about, and then we'll probably just dive into Pokemon Go. Real fast, book's gonna be pushed to next week because both didn't finish it. We're just super busy. You want to go ahead and pick a book?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Life Debt, the next
Life
Star
Debt.
Wars Aftermath book.
When does that come out?
It's out. It's out now.
Oh my god! Thank you. Damn, I didn't even know that was out yet.
Yeah, it's out.
Came out yesterday. I mean, like a few days doesn't matter. Time travel. This is gonna be awesome. God, what time to be alive? We got Pokemon, Star Wars. I'm gonna be playing Pokemon. Probably listen to the audiobook because let's be honest, I love the Star Wars audiobooks.
Yeah. I hope this is better than the last Aftermath book.
Oh yeah, I think it will be. I loved the last page in Aftermath. So
yeah.
No, I'm totally down. Is there any reviews out? Like, I don't want to like read it to get spoiled, but I want to be like, I want to know like a 10-second clip like this is good, this is not good.
I haven't.
Oh, it's just okay. It says on IGN.
Aw.
Oh well, I love it. Let's be real, I love it. But yeah, yeah. So, we'll get into that next week. So dude, let's talk about wrestling, then we'll get into some Pokemon. Give me the wrestling update.
Okay, so WWE is getting ready to split their brand next week.
Yes.
They'll do the draft on the first ever live SmackDown, which I'm pretty sure is true, with maybe like one or two special exceptions, but they mean like forever now. They're gonna do it like Raw. It's gonna be actually live on Tuesdays. So okay, fine, whatever. And that's when they're gonna have the draft next week. We've got Battleground this Sunday, next Sunday. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't keep track of dates for these things because it's all screwed up. Because next week on Raw, Seth Rollins will face Dean Ambrose for the WWE title before their match at Battleground, which is a triple threat with all three members of the Shield for the WWE title.
Any news on Roman?
He's just waiting out his suspension.
Like he wasn't shown on TV or anything?
No, they did. Oh my god, they did a thing. They rehashed an old Kurt Angle bit from like literally 20 years ago, where Seth Rollins sat down to have a quote-unquote interview with Roman Reigns, where
Right.
what Seth did was he was seated and he asked questions, and they played totally out of context clips from other Roman Reigns interviews. And it, like, for Seth's character, it was great. I couldn't help thinking the whole time, though. I was like, oh, we saw Kurt Angle do this, and he kind of did it better.
Wow.
But, I mean, it was fine. It was fun. I get it, because they can't have Roman on TV because he's suspended, even though they're going to keep bringing him up and keep pushing him and keep acting like he is the guy, which just goes to show that, like, the whole Roman Empire experiment is done. It's failed. It's over.
There's so many better things going on right now in wrestling than him.
Yeah.
I did see some things. I did see what just looked batshit crazy about New Day and
the Wyatts.
Wyatt's. Yeah, I was like, this is just weird. Like,
because it was a ripoff of what TNA did, which was a ripoff of what I can't remember of what was it. What Lucha Underground did.
But I thought I
I
was
think.
watching a really bad episode of like True Detective.
Yeah, yeah,
Like these three black dudes show up to the woods and these just rednecks go. I was like, this is really weird.
yeah. It was a.
Like,
It would have been a strange segment anyway, but
yeah,
they took their cue from TNA's Hardy feud, which I look there is there is so much to be said about everything that led up to the final deletion, which is what they called it, and this whole thing that TNA has done with the Hardys has been on it has at times crossed into like this is so awful it's almost Shakespearean. Like it's that kind of thing where like it's just so bad it's amazing. Um,
yeah.
but not like oh this is amazingly bad like the second Transformers movie. But you're watching this and you're just like because this thing it had so many good moments. I'm sorry, it's a dilapidated boat is something that deserves to live on the internet forever. But just that the idea of just taking this out because Lucha Underground has been doing episodic like it's not just oh and these guys cut a promo and then they go to the ring. It's like no, there's an actual like a TV show happening around
Didn't
this.
somebody eat someone else in one of those?
I
Like,
don't
didn't it get really dark in one of them?
I Lucha might have
I
um
thought I heard. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about it, and it was like it sounded like it went off the fucking rails.
it's
Or
entirely
like
possible. I haven't.
someone fed someone else one of the wrestlers, or like South Park, when Cartman did that or whatever. Like that's the level it's. They said it went to, but I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, I remember when before the kennel in a cell match, which nobody ever wants to hear those words again. Where who was it? Al Snow and whoever he was feuding with. There was a thing about somebody's dog Pepper, and one of them cooked dinner for the other. I can't even remember all the details of this feud because I really don't want to. And they were like, "Oh, this is good. What is it?" And they were like, "Ha, smug wink. It's pepper steak." And
That's what it was, though.
yeah,
That's what they were talking
yeah,
about.
that was one of them. Like was supposedly feeding the other one their dog. Like it was all.
Right, right. That's what they were like.
It was a disaster. It was awful. Like that's this is an example of something that is just amazingly bad. Like that whole Kennel in a Cell thing and the feud around it was just terrible.
So Al Snow is in Lucha Underground.
No, no, no. My God, this was decades ago.
Oh, okay.
This
I
was a
thought it was Lucha Underground.
no, no. This was a long time ago. This was
Okay.
this was 20 was it 20 years? No,
Mm,
it would have been after the first cell match fifth somewhere around turn of the millennium, I think. Late
mm.
late 90s sounds about right, early 2000s. But oh yeah, oh it was awful. It was just a terrible WWE angle. This is a
Right.
terrible angle in general. Uh and God, it was just awful. But the final deletion was just like this it was just the commitment that they had to telling a story and it was and you could see like oh it's going to end in a wrestling ring. Well, why? Well, because that's just what happens in this world. Oh, okay. Like that's where
Right.
you're supposed to suspend the disbelief. Just like, oh, this is how things get settled. That's
Mm.
that's where Lucha Underground thrives, where they're just like, okay, you've got these problems, blah blah blah, so you go out to the ring. Like that's just it's not like how it's set up in WWE is just like, oh, there are all of these other mechanisms in place. The ring also happens to be one of them.
Hmm.
With something like this, it's more like, no, no, the ring is the be all end all. This is where it's settled, kind of thing, and
Right.
and it works better that way sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, at least from a tighter storytelling perspective. Um, but if anybody hasn't seen TNA's The Final Deletion, they have it up on YouTube, and it is something that you absolutely have to watch. It is because you come down on this on either side. It's either like, oh my god, this was terrible. Wrestling is dead. TNA is over. The Hardys have salted the earth. Like just absolutely spitting and cursing the name of all things pro wrestling, or you come away from that thinking that was just magnificent. Like, not in a
Right.
great sense. Nobody's gonna nominate this for any awards, but there is an inherent sort of X factor in it that you just can't get away from.
Right.
There's this inescapable charisma in this thing that you're just like, they really went at it. And I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it was really something. And apparently the word going around was that they showed this on the flight, because while this was going on, WWE was doing a show in Japan. That was part of their whatever tour they were doing. And
Right.
apparently they showed this on the plane on the way back,
Wow.
and everybody loved it. Like, they thought this was the most amazing thing ever. They were like, we
That's
see it, we get it, we understand it. It's silly, it's ridiculous, it's completely over the top, and it's amazing. And
right.
hence the New Day visiting the Wyatt's compound.
Yeah, it was
And
just weird.
it was weird. It was very weird. But like, nothing happened though. They showed up. They rolled around. Braun Strowman threw a tire at somebody, and then Big E hit him with an oil drum, and then like some other stuff, and then the New Day left.
Hmm.
Like, nothing was result. Like, that was the big difference. There was no payoff. There was no point to it. And with these two teams, with these two stables that are nothing but charisma, they are the top of what it means to be over and how to control a crowd,
Hmm.
and they just got nothing. And I don't like that was supremely disappointing.
Right.
But I don't know. And then, now we have Brock Lesnar will face Randy Orton at SummerSlam because nobody cares.
Did, was Brock on the show?
No, no, they made
Or
an announcement. Uh,
so the
yeah,
Wait a second. So there was no story lead up?
no,
No.
none.
What?
Yeah, SummerSlam. They've got a month until SummerSlam though, so they'll have time to build a story. Except that this is booking in reverse, which
Totally.
which is what you do behind the scenes. It is exactly how you book. You say, okay, here's two people, we're gonna put them together, and now we're gonna build the story. But
Right.
but you don't actually do that in public. You don't come out and say, okay, here's the match you're gonna get, and now we're gonna explain why. No, you actually tell the story. You say, okay, here's this progression. Oh, so of course it has to lead to this match.
Hmm.
But
It's
I don't know,
crazy.
and I don't care because I am completely ambivalent to Randy Orton. I could care one way or another. I haven't missed him while he's been gone. He's not really going to do much for anybody when he gets back. So that's going to be that. Hopefully, now that Darren Young is the number one contender for the Intercontinental title, we'll stop seeing the "Make Darren Young Great Again" promos, which have been like 3 months of just awful.
Right.
Oh, they've been terrible. Just because they're bad promos. I don't even care about the gimmick. I don't care about the slogan. The promos are just painful to watch.
Yeah.
And ugh. But I mean, for God's sake, they're pushing Zack Ryder again. They're like, oh, he's gonna be contending for the U.S. title, and I'm like, really? When did this
Right.
happen? Because like he won the Intercontinental title at Mania and then lost it less than 24 hours later, I think.
It's so stupid.
So, if you're going to give him a push, really give him a push because he deserves it. I mean, Zach has charisma leaking out of his hair, but, either. And there's something else to be said for the fact that they're really pushing guys like Zack Ryder and Darren Young, who management hasn't really known what to do with outside of the primetime players. Uh,
Right.
it's why Titus O'Neil keeps getting called up to do things on TV at all. I mean, how they've been everybody knows they've been calling people, trying to get in touch with people to come back for the draft.
Hmm.
Kurt Angle, Goldberg. I mean, the list, the song goes on. But most of them have apparently been saying they're not interested.
Right.
Or
Did
that
Goldberg actually say he is?
now I don't know about Goldberg. I know that Kurt Angle is not going to be a part of it. Like that came
Oh.
out where it's like, nope, no Kurt Angle. But it makes you wonder behind the scenes, like, okay, they're pushing all of this, whether they deserve to be bottom level talent or not. This is where they've wound up. But now they're getting these pushes. Why? Why are they suddenly feeling the need to expand the roster? Like, oh hey, remember these people? Breezango won their match this week against the Lucha Dragons, which haven't been a team, I guess, since Kalisto won the U.S. title. Um, and so now they're back to being a team, and Breezango is a thing, and like they're really trying to seem like, oh hey, we have people now, and like I don't know. It's it's not a good sign. And then they
No.
named Shane McMahon commissioner of SmackDown and Stephanie McMahon commissioner of Raw, each of whom will then have to pick their own show's general manager next week. I mean, these angles just keep getting drawn out and stupider and stupider and stupider.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Like that's
What's the difference between the manager and the commissioner?
right. That's kind of exactly everybody's question because there really isn't one. Like I don't know. So
All right.
that's the state of wrestling. TNA was the most interesting thing this past week, which is batshit crazy.
All right. Well, with that, we will be back. We'll get back. We'll talk about Pokemon Go. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And man, let's just get into some Pokemon Go stuff. I got some things that I found. Some crazy stories. Did you know that because when Pokemon Go came out, it had the biggest day in their stock history?
It jumped 25%.
Yes, next to the only thing that rivaled it was when they introduced the Famicom for the
Yeah,
first time.
that sounds right.
And the crazy thing, yeah, it said it Pokemon game adds 7.5 billion with a B to Nintendo's market value in 2 days.
Jesus.
Yeah, apparently it makes about 2 million a day gross on uh, iOS alone. It is beating Facebook, Tinder, and Snapchat for users.
Yeah, I did see.
Yeah.
God, that's
What's bigger
insane.
right now? Let's see. No. Yeah, Snapchat, Tinder, maybe Instagram might be bigger. Um, yeah, I don't have actually have the numbers or whatnot in front of me, but the Pokemon Go's daily usage time for social media apps is in front of WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, and Messenger. That's crazy.
I think the only thing that's beating it is Twitter.
Twitter, right? It's almost caught up to Twitter, but
Unreal.
yeah, it's saying Americans will spend an average of 22 minutes a day on Facebook. Um, According to SimilarWeb, the people who did it, the average time per day spent on Pokemon Go was 43 minutes.
Oh,
That is insane. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. Um, it says it overtakes Tinder. Yeah, soon to surpass Twitter. That's the only one that it hasn't yet. Um, dude,
once it goes global, it will.
I expected me and you to be into it, and of course, like the listeners,
Right.
I didn't expect this level of frenzy. It's like, where the hell have you guys been all this year? But let's think about this. I think, of course, it's because you can get this free and everyone has the device.
That's that was I. That's the biggest thing. That's
Right.
absolutely the biggest thing. If
Right.
it was anything else, it wouldn't be. Even the 3DS games, if they made them free, if they handed out 3DS games, it still wouldn't be as big because you'd still have to buy the 3DS.
Right, exactly. Most people, we love it because we love Nintendo, we're nerds, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But most people our age, this isn't their device of choice. It's the iPhone. Or the Android. You know what I mean? Um, Or if you're one of those people that have a Windows phone, but you can't have this game. But no, like it's 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 the fact that this was so accessible to when I have friends who played Pokemon, as a kid and really stopped playing that kind of game. They grew up, they have families, or they grow up and they're just not, it's not their interest anymore. But when this comes out, they're just like, oh shit, this brings me back. And what a cool concept that you're going to all these places, you're doing all these things. It's a total geographical thing.
Yeah.
Um, there's so many things that made this the perfect storm. The fact that it does, I can guarantee you, the player base is people our generation and our age. And of course, it expands to older people and younger people. I'm saying we're probably the majority
Yeah.
that this reaches to. And it couldn't have come at a better time either. Things have really sucked in this world, and those things are important, of course. But it's also important to like go outside and have a little bit of hope, have a little fun. And this is doing that. Like this is getting people to talk to neighbors. Like I saw today, neighbor, he doesn't live across the street from me or anything like that. He lives like down the road. Never seen him before in my life. Saw him outside walking around, knew what he was doing, went and said hi. You're doing Pokemon? He's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, yeah. I go, there's a Meowth down the street. No, word. We walked down the street and I came back because I had to go back to work. But I had never seen him before. This kid John never. It's getting people outside. It's getting people. Just it's this weird, beautiful thing that we're witnessing.
Yeah.
It really is odd and strange. It's this weird social experiment. I went to an event this weekend. Now I thought it was over 1,000. I saw a YouTube video today that said it was over 2,000. I don't know if that's true or not. The entire park was filled with people. I have never seen anything like that. My roommate, we went and he's not into any of this. He heard all about it, of course. We went and we were just stunned, just straight stunned. I thought maybe there'd be 100 people, a few hundred, because you see these Facebook groups and it's like, oh, 1,000 people said they're going, 2,000 says they're interested. How many actually show up? Oh my god, it seemed like almost everyone showed up. Everybody was playing Pokemon. Everyone had their phones out. People in the parking lot. I was just like, what world am I living in right now? Oh man, what about you? I know you live in a smaller town. Have you seen anyone playing it?
I went downtown today and saw there were a couple of small groups.
Hmm.
Mostly just like pairs. A
Right.
couple, be like a couple guys or something on skateboards or something like that. Um,
Right.
you know, uh, that's kind of it.
Hmm.
Because if we had 2,000 people show up in anywhere in Statesville to play Pokemon, I still think we'd probably all be burned at the stake. Look, it's kind of town we live in here.
Yeah.
But you know, it's it's been fun listening to people like and it was great because here's a funny thing. Around my house, I catch, I live on Route 2. Pidgeys, Spearows, Weedles, that whole bit.
I think
Rattatas,
most people
got a
do.
damn many Rattatas. And so I was like, all right, I'll go downtown because that's where like all the Pokestops are is downtown here. And I was like, all right, so what else am I gonna find down here? Weedles, Spearows, Pidgeys. I'm like, God, I'm level 7. Shouldn't I be finding? I've found interesting stuff before. Like
As
I've
soon
driven.
as I hit 10, I started seeing Staroos and Meowths, and
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, maybe it's a level thing. That's the other thing about it. No one knows a fucking thing about how to play this game properly.
exactly. I love
I
that.
I saw something today where it was like if you tap on the list of Pokemon and you tap the one you want and it just shows that Pokemon and how many steps it is away, if you spin and it blinks green, then it's that in that direction. And everyone thought that. And I go, "Oh my god, that's happening." Turns out that the blinking green means there's more Pokemon in that direction. If you walk that way, you'll get newer Pokemon in your little batch of 9.
Right.
And that's kind of the beauty of this game is that I'm hearing all of these different rumors and oh, if you go to at night you only get the ghost Pokemon. I don't know if that's true. If you go to gas stations, you get fire Pokemon. I have no idea if that's true. What is true, if you go to water, you will find water Pokemon. If you go to parks, you will find like critters and stuff like that.
Right.
But what's the fire one? Just showed up to my house today.
I don't know.
His head looks funny. It's like Magnum or something like
Magmar.
that.
Magmar. Oh, you found a Magmar?
Just showed up at my house. I
Oh,
was
boo.
thankfully on my lunch break or one of my breaks. And I was like, "What the?" I walked down the street. I saw a Jigglypuff. I haven't seen anyone with a Jigglypuff.
I
Um,
like, and that's like I've been seeing all this stuff, and like I've seen as I've driven around town, because I've been mapping out my town while I deliver pizzas.
mhm.
I'm just like, all right, here's what's kind of up here, and I've seen other Pokemon. Like I've seen Paris, I've seen Bellsprouts, and all this stuff. It's just I just haven't been in the right areas. So I went downtown, nothing interesting. I went to the park, nothing interesting. On
Now, are you
my
plugging into the Pokestops?
Yeah,
You're plugging the whatever thing into it and letting it. That was the other thing. Like it was so. I know that the millennials. It was lit. I swear to God, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, this place is lit. There are like 6 different things all plugged in, and it's just popping up. And what's crazy, I didn't realize this. Where the Pokemon shows up, it's not just for you; it's for everyone.
yeah,
So like, I'm hearing 5 people go, "Oh my God, there's a Scyther over here," and that we all run to it, and it's there. It's
yeah,
there for everybody, and everyone's catching it. And I'm like, oh, everyone's game is the same.
yeah,
If it's there for you, it's there for them. And I just thought, what a fucking genius game. And I love it's simple, and yet it can be complicated. But for the simplest people, you understand the concept. Catch
yeah.
Pokemon, catch as many as you can. If you catch a bunch of them, you can evolve them. They've already said the 2 big features they're working on is trading to only in the vicinity,
Right.
and uh what is it, leaderboards? Yeah, world leaderboards.
Yeah.
So you can be the best in your city, your state, your country, and the world.
There you go. Something to
And
shoot
that
for.
and that's to be the best.
That like no one ever was.
Oh my God, me and my buddies were talking today. I'm like, when we go to EDC or something like that this year,
Oh my god.
every DJ is going to have their Pokemons.
Are
It
you-
is going to take over. Like, I'm starting to see it now. There's a bar downtown that if you're like if you're Team Mystic or whatever, you get like 10% off. I saw it where if you're level like 25 or whatever, I think it's like level 10, you get a free drink. Level 20, you get a free slice of pizza. And it's like businesses are becoming really smart about this now.
Hey,
Like,
look,
come to our store, spin the sign, buy some shit.
exactly. And that's what you do when you're in business. You just look at this and say, you know what? Maybe I don't understand it, but screw it. We're gonna figure out how to make this work.
And that's the thing, people. If you don't understand it, that's cool. Don't be a dick. Find a way to make money off of it and be cool. Like, this is something we all need. This is something that's good, and no
Yeah.
reason to be cynical about it. But we
Yeah.
were out of time. Believe us, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Go next
Yeah.
week.
Real quick. Go ahead. Shout out Team what?
Team Valor.
Team Mystic.
Yep. So we got the 2 big ones.
Poor Team Instinct. I've never seen
I know, but
anybody Team Instinct around here.
I have like 2 friends that are Team Instinct, and I'm like, oh, you poor thing.
I know.
I'm sorry you chose poorly, but anyway,
Yeah.
I think we chose good. Blue and red, pretty good decision.
Mark.
And Florida's just huge with red for some reason. But anyway, okay. Go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast. Like, there's one you can talk in. Go add us on Twitter. Gotta start tweeting more. It's at We Geek Podcast, at the Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Email address wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's it. We'll see you guys all next week. I'm gonna go read/listen to some Star Wars. Captain.
Captain.